If someone says I'm not going anywhere, they're going somewhere. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Lately I've been thinking a lot about how guys have f***ed me over in the past. I thought I'd share some of my worst dating experiences, red flags to look out for, and just some fun little story times. I also asked you guys on my Instagram to submit some of your crazy dating stories, and I got a lot of interesting responses. I feel like this video will low-key feel like therapy for me because I have a lot of shit that I've been through that I just haven't aired out, and I feel like this will be good. So the first question I asked everyone on Instagram was, what are red flags in a relationship? A common theme was lying. Lying for me, I think, is the biggest red flag, especially my last relationship, or actually my relationship before that. My last serious relationship, lying was a big issue. This ex was very manipulative and deceitful and just honestly probably the most, I think my least favorite ex, just because he was such a terrible person. He told me millions of lies, and when I say millions, that might be the minimum amount. It might have been more than a million times that he lied to me. Something that majorly sticks out in my mind was at Christmas. He told me that he got me thousands of dollars worth of gifts, and that he would give me hints about what things would be, and one of them he was like, oh yeah, it's an electronic and it was $500 and it's gonna replace something you use every day. So that made me think I was getting a phone or something, which I was like, that's kind of weird. And it was just a lot of pressure on me because I was like, oh my god, I have to get him a lot of stuff. And my parents, it's not like they were just gonna give me their credit card to buy my boyfriend gifts. I had to work for my own money to buy him gifts, versus this ex had parents that just gave him whatever. He just had unlimited amounts of money that his parents gave him and had no work ethic at all. I would be doomed if I ever got married to him, because okay, this is another lie. He told me that his parents had $10 million and that we would inherit that, and so we wouldn't have to work, which doesn't make sense because you don't even inherit money until your parents die, which it was definitely not $10 million, and I'm not gonna wait till his parents die to buy a house. So that didn't even make sense to tell me, but he would just be say manipulative things about money to keep me, I guess. So back to the Christmas gifts, he told me that he had spent thousands of dollars on me, and he kept saying your gift's gonna be shit. He was very sarcastic, so sometimes he would say things in a joking way, but he was being serious. So that's pretty bad. I spent hundreds of my own hard-earned money. I never had spent my work money before, and this was the first time that I started spending my own money, and I bought him some great gifts. I filled this huge box with all these things, and my love language is gift giving, right? So it was a good gift, but I was so scared to give it to him because I was like, wow, it's gonna be so shit compared to his gift that is thousands of dollars and has all these things that he's been telling me about. Basically, he got me a stuffed animal, slippers from the dollar store, and his parents got me a puzzle. So, thousands of dollars, right? And I don't care about the money. It's just the fact that he lied to me and manipulated me into getting him more, because he kept telling me my gift is gonna be bad because I don't have money to spend on it, when in reality my gift was amazing. I'm pretty sure I cried on Christmas because of that. I was like, wow, he's such a liar. Basically, lying is a big red flag. Some people said when they start talking about other girls, or when they're talking about other girls to their friends in front of you, which could mean two things. It could mean that he is simply just not interested in you, and in that case you deserve way better. You deserve to find someone who wants you, even though that could be hard if you're chasing someone and they just don't like you. I've totally had that rejection before and it sucks. Or it could mean that they're trying to make you jealous, and it's kind of hard to decide. There's a lot of other factors of oh, if they want to hang out with you a lot but then they're talking about other girls, and that just could be that they want to make you jealous. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Another red flag someone mentioned was super slow responses or bland conversations, and that could also mean two things. It could be that they're just bad at texting. One of my best friends, she was talking to a guy and she was like, wow, he just really doesn't like me, but then in person he's like, no, I'm honestly just horrible at texting. It could be that, but that's a very rare case, and it could also just mean that he's not that into you, also known as not worth your time. Some people said jealousy or trust issues. I personally haven't had a lot of that from the other side. It's mostly been me who has the trust issues and me who has a lot of jealousy issues. That could be from past relationships. I think it's something you have to work through and heal. If you find the right person, I think that they will be able to put in the effort and communication to work on a relationship with you. I don't think that that should be a huge red flag. If I start dating someone and they have jealousy issues or trust issues, yes, it could mean that they're a little possessive, or that they have some inner things that they need to work on, but that's not a complete turn off, I feel because for me, I have those things, and I would want to be with someone who is willing to work through them with me and have open communication and like build my trust. I also had you guys ask me any questions you had about relationships or dating, so let's go through those. Someone asked if I have a current man. No, I do not. I'm gonna share the story about how I found out that, or how I was ghosted actually, after buying a non-refundable plane ticket to see him again later in this video. So if you're interested in that, then keep on watching. Thoughts about meeting the family, nervous AF. This is so understandable and so just very valid, because it's kind of like these people could be your future in-laws, or if they hate you, this could be like the end of your relationship. There's a lot to be scared of when you're meeting the family, especially if they have sisters. I think every guy I've dated has like an older sister that like either was intimidated by me or was like scared to like have their little brother date for the first time, something like that. But back to meeting the family. So recently, the guy I was seeing, I had to meet his mom, and I was really scared because I was a little older than him, and I was nervous that she was like not gonna like me because of that. I got very protective vibes from her, and what you have to do is honestly just go in, take a few deep breaths, like what's the worst that's gonna happen. Usually the mom is probably nervous to meet you too, and she just wants to be like a nice, cool, chill, not even just mom, but like parents, family, whatever. They want to be cool when they meet you too, and they want to like you usually. So just know that everyone's kind of in the same boat. It's going to be maybe a little awkward, but just honestly, even though it's kind of hard to say, just be yourself, try to act just normal, and don't try to be a certain way you're not, because eventually it's always going to come out in the future about how you like really are. I was nervous because the last time I met someone's family, I was wearing a crop top, and I was like, oh my god, what if they like think I'm a slut or something? I don't know why I thought that, but like just like, you know, be yourself. I just wore a little jacket over, but I was still myself, still wore what I usually wear, just so the more you go like to their house or whatever, they're used to. Just be casual and comfortable, you know, especially if you're just going to their house. Just be friendly. I love like being friends with someone and then meeting their family while we're friends, and then start dating, because then it's not as awkward and like not as much pressure dating or like meeting their family. This next question I would say is very controversial. Someone asked if their boyfriend should be able to watch porn. I think I have an interesting take on this. So I do not think your boyfriend should need to watch porn, especially if he's already intimate with you. And if he's not like sexually intimate with you, then I think it just should be something you talk about, especially if you're uncomfortable, and try to have an open dialogue about it, because if you don't, then you can get hurt and they can get hurt, and it could just be a bad scenario. And for me, it's like very uncomfortable, especially knowing that your boyfriend could be like looking at other girls' naked bodies. Like that is very uncomfortable, and for some people it's really not. Some people totally just openly talk about watching porn with their partner, or that their partner watches porn. Something big right now is like OnlyFans, and I've heard of a lot of stories where boyfriends are subscribed to other girls' OnlyFans while they have a girlfriend, and for me that's unacceptable, especially because I assume it's like subscribing to a specific girl and it's like lusting after her sexually. And especially if you have a girlfriend, why pay money to see another girl's naked body? But yeah, so porn I think is definitely something you have to talk about with them. If you're uncomfortable with it, let them know, or if you think that it's a problem in their life, then that's a whole nother issue that you should probably bring up to them as well too. Speaking of sort of electronically lusting after other women, my biggest red flag would be how their social media presence is. And I feel like this is something that's not really talked about that much. So in a past relationship, I was dating a guy, and he would always like all these girls like bikini pictures and like half naked pictures on Instagram while he was dating me, and he had girlfriends that he would comment on their pictures, like flirty things, but only on their like bikini pictures. And so it made me want to post more like bikini pictures, or like seductive looking pictures, so that he would give me that attention, and he never did. And he continued liking other girls' bikini pictures even after I said it made me uncomfortable. Even if you're not dating a guy and you're just interested in a guy, and it like look through who they follow. Like if they follow a bunch of, you know, very seductive half-naked women on Instagram, that just tells something about their character. I think this might be an unpopular opinion, but for me, like I wouldn't want my future husband like looking at all that and like constantly liking it. Like whenever I see a guy that I know, especially guys that have girlfriends, and they are liking literally girls' bare asses on Instagram, I'm like, I feel bad for your girlfriend, because that just isn't a good look. It's like so publicly too, and like everyone can see it. I just don't think that that is a good look for some guys. My like really bad ex was just super dishonest with me, and he actually went back on this girl who he was constantly talking to throughout our relationship, went like back on her Instagram to like one of her old bikini pictures so it wouldn't like recently pop up on my feed, you know? And he commented something, I don't even know what it was, but it was probably something flirty, and this girl was best friends with my current best friend. So she was tagged in the picture because it was on like one of their vacations. And so my best friend got alerted like, hey, your like boyfriend just commented like a flirty thing on this really old bikini pic of her, which was super suspicious. When I asked him about it, he was like, oh, I was just joking. But looking back now, he was obviously just trying to hide it from me so that I wouldn't see. And he ended up talking to our whole entire relationship and never let me go through his phone. He would always vibe check me. I've talked about this before, but he would always vibe check me and go through my messages and try to find things. And anytime I was like, wait, why can't I go through your phone if you're going through mine? He would just call me crazy and say that he's never done anything suspicious for me to even need to go through his phone, which wasn't true. But I just stupidly went along with it. And when I actually did look at his phone for the first time, I found that he was texting her all kinds of flirty things, planning to meet up with her, planning to hang out with her, talking bad about me, saying that he loved her, all this shit. So yeah, fun times. This is honestly just me ranting about one of my ex-boyfriends. He would always make jokes but like bully me through them, you know? So someone said a quote to me the other day and they were like, oh, the truth comes out when someone's joking. Like he would constantly call me fat every time I ate in front of them, which is a huge problem. It's mean, but it's like, okay, I get that, like you're joking. Like it's not funny, but it's a joke, I get it. When we got in a fight, he'd be like, oh, I could have been with this girl because she had bigger boobs than you. And then when we weren't fighting anymore, I would bring it up and he'd be like, oh, I was just joking. And I'm like, no, you weren't joking when we were fighting, so it's obviously what you think. Another huge red flag to me, this literally has ruined so many of my relationships, is just a hands down misogynistic boy. I was dating this guy who was very like into fitness and working out and all that. He genuinely thinks that men are stronger than women. We would just fight about our beliefs and he was literally against feminism. So I was like, yeah, that's gonna be a no for me. Okay, sorry, my camera died and it was getting really hot in here, so I had to change. I think I was talking about misogyny. So another one of my exes, we were on vacation with each other. We woke up and he wanted to get Starbucks and I was like, okay, let's go together. And he's like, no, you should go get it for me because I'm tired and I want to lay in bed, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, like how about we go together? Like it'll be fun. We could like go walk to get it. And he said to me that, this is a quote, the wife is supposed to get the husband coffee in the morning. And I was like, I literally stood there and I was like, that's interesting because my dad always gets my mom coffee in the morning or they'll go together. You know, I was just like shocked that he actually said that to me and that I was dating someone who would say that to me and think like that. Granted, his parents' relationship was really toxic and he had just a disgusting father, and I've never said that out loud, but he did. He was not raised right and he wasn't raised to respect women, and that is for sure, and that really showed up in our relationship. Okay, I need to turn on my ring light. It is too dark. Okay, that's a lot better. Hopefully it's not too bright. Anyways, another question that someone asked me was, how do you get over someone who you talked with 4 months and then f***ed you over? So funny you should ask that because that literally just happened to me, and the girl who asked this, I was talking to her about it. I was like, oh my god, we literally went through like the same thing. So I met this guy on vacation with my friends here in California, and he had lived in another state, and I booked a flight to go see him. You know, we FaceTimed every day leading up to that, and then when I came back we were FaceTiming and he told me to book another flight to see him, so I did. And on the phone he was constantly saying like, oh, I'm not going anywhere, like if you ever decide that you want to stop talking to me, you know, like that's gonna be like on you, like I'm not gonna stop talking to you, you know. He would say at every FaceTime call, sorry, I felt like it was too bright, about how he's never gonna leave me, you know. If someone says I'm not going anywhere, they're going somewhere. One of my grandparents said that to me before they died, so you know, it's a proven fact. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the lighting. I feel like it's really bad. I feel like this video is gonna get sent to some people, so I want it to look good, you know? So basically, I was talking to this guy, right? Every single night for months. After I met him, I flew out to see him and then booked another flight to see him again in October. So this was like very recently. We had just literally talked every single night. We talked throughout the day. Like we were like planning for the future, you know. This guy's a little younger. He was talking about where he wants to go to college and stuff, and he was telling me, yeah, I'll come out there, that way we can be together and blah blah blah. So I knew that he was applying to colleges a little bit ago. I called him. I was like, hey, like what schools did you end up applying to? And he said a bunch of schools in his state and then a few schools in other states, and none of them were in California. And so I was like, oh my god, wait, you're not applying to any schools out here? I thought that was like the plan. He said that he's not applying to any schools out of state, even though he had mentioned other states that were not his state. So he obviously was applying to schools out of state, just not my state. And so I said, realistically, how do you think this is gonna work? He goes, yeah, that's the thing, I don't think it will. I've been thinking this for weeks now. and I just didn't know how to tell you. That was cool. And that was on the phone, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, so should I just like not come out there then? So I have a non-refunded ticket. After that phone call, the second after that phone call, he stopped sharing his location with me. So I was like, that's the first thing you think of, like, okay. This was a few days ago. I realized that he had unadded me and blocked me on every single social media platform. And I texted him and I was like, yo, like, what is going on? Like, did something happen? Like, we talked every day for months and everything was fine until we like decided that it's not gonna work out, but like, you don't need to ghost me. And then he said, you need to focus on yourself. So yeah, after spending tons of time, energy, and money on this boy, he just completely ghosted me, and I have no idea what's happening in his life or why he really ghosted me. So yeah, that's cool. Oh, but someone asked, how do you get over it? I don't really know. I'm still kind of going through it, but I'd say, especially for me, it's like actually easier that they're not in my state. Like if I have to get over someone who goes to me that I see all the time, that would probably be a lot harder, which is actually what this girl was talking about. I would literally just say what that out-of-state guy just told me, to just focus on myself. That's what I've been doing. I've been making my money, you know, planning some goals and trips and just hanging out with friends. Actually, I haven't been hanging out with friends because my friends aren't here because they're all in college. Oh my God, this lighting's really bothering me. I don't know what to do. But yeah, I've honestly just really been focusing on myself. Also, it's a lot easier that I don't have him on social media actually, because I don't see anything he does, and he doesn't really do anything anyways because he lives in the middle of nowhere. I also asked my Instagram followers to share their worst dating experiences, so I thought I'd share some of those stories and some of my worst dating experiences as well, because the ones I've already mentioned aren't even the worst of it. Someone said writing what he gets paid on the to-go box after all he did was talk about him. That is seriously the worst. I had a scenario where I went on kind of a date with someone. It was kind of just, we were like hanging out, but we went to dinner together, and I had never hung out with him before, I even met him, so it was like a date. All he did was talk about himself and how much money he made, and not even how much money he made, how much money he had that his parents just gave him. He talked shit about people. He literally asked me, what's your favorite designer? And I was like, bro, I am 17 or 16 or however old I was at the time. I don't have a favorite designer because I can't afford designer. That was a pretty bad experience. Oh my God, I cannot believe this happened. Someone said, he told me at the end of our blind date, this is usually when we exchange numbers, but no. That is horrible. Like, I would just exchange numbers even if I didn't like them, or just not even bring up that thought, you know, if you didn't like them, like be like, oh, like I'll talk to you soon kind of thing. What the hell? That is awful. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Someone said, dated someone's family who didn't like me. That sucks. Like, honestly, I think that's kind of what may have happened with the long distance guy, because I am a little older than him, and I think his family didn't really like that. I also think his mom was very like overprotective and controlling and didn't want him dating anybody. I have a funny story actually that goes back to the trust issues, and specifically my trust issues. My bad ex in the past had, we're just gonna call him Sid because he looks like Sid the Science Kid. He had been talking to other girls through Snapchat and had all these girl best friends that were higher than me on his best friends list, and would just talk to them more than me, and literally just was very suspicious, specifically on Snapchat. So Snapchat in general is just a trigger for me in relationships. Like, I will not date someone who has Snapchat or uses it. So I was in the car next to this guy. We were with a bunch of friends and we were all driving to like go out to this arcade thing. I saw that next to me, he was texting a girl named Brittany, and I didn't see what the text was. I just saw that, and then I kind of looked over, but then I looked away because I didn't want him to think I was looking. And so he put his phone away, and then he brings out his phone again, and the text said, it had the same name. It was like B and then it ended with the Y. Wasn't Brittany, but I thought it was. And the text said, what time are we meeting tomorrow? And I go, oh my God, he is meeting up with another girl tomorrow. Like, this is a horrible case scenario. I completely just shut him out. Like he was trying to like touch me and like kiss me and like talk to me, and I was like, no, like, I hate you. I got into the place with my best friend. I brought her in the bathroom. I was like, he's meeting up with a girl named Brittany tomorrow. Like, I'm so done. Like, of course this happens to me. Like, I always meet liars and whatever. And this is exactly what happened in my last relationship. And then I was ignoring him the whole time we were at the arcade. So embarrassing looking back. Like, that was probably like one of my most embarrassing moments, because he comes up to me, he's like, what is wrong? And I was like, or no, he actually sat next to me, but not next to me. There was a space in between. I go, are you saving that seat for Brittany? And he's like, who the f is Brittany? And I'm like, that bitch you're texting on Snapchat? He's like, I don't know a Brittany. Who are you talking about? So it turns out the first time he was texting someone, it was a girl named Brinley, and she was asking about his math homework or whatever, but I didn't see that. I just saw Brinley and I thought it said Brittany. And then the second time there was a birthday group chat and it said birthday, and they were meeting for a birthday thing tomorrow, and someone said, who was literally a guy friend of his, like, oh, what time are we meeting tomorrow, in the birthday group chat. But I thought that it was a girl named Brittany texting him and that they were meeting up tomorrow. That was really embarrassing. He's like, no, like, this is what happened, you're crazy. And I was like, oh shit. Like, that was probably one of the most embarrassing things, and just shows how much trust issues I have, especially with guys talking to other girls on Snapchat. Okay, sorry, my family's fighting in the background, so if you hear that, just ignore it. Okay, so another huge red flag in my book is having a ton of girl best friends. I feel like this honestly depends on who you're dating, and it's very situational because you can have like a huge group of friends and then be dating someone and there's girls in the group and you know, that whole thing. My ex, the same one that I keep talking about, Sid, he had a ton of girl best friends who were not very nice to me. They never included me in anything. He'd always go to parties. I remember one time I was at his house and I wasn't doing anything that night. One of his guy friends and their girlfriend came to pick him up and take him to the party. And I was like, wait, how come I'm not coming? Like, this guy's bringing his girlfriend. Why can't you bring me? He never brought me anywhere. He never wanted to bring me to the parties. And that was one of the parts of his life that attracted me to him. I thought that him and his friends did so many fun things. They would always like go on different trips and parties and all this stuff, and it looked really fun. And so when I started dating him, I thought that that was gonna be like our lifestyle as a date, like as a couple. But he never brought me to anything. So that was cool, fun. So basically it's like when you get the friend out of the friend group who's like the worst one, like, oh, they have a fun friend group, but he was the most boring one and he never did anything with me. Like, he would only do fun things with his friends and he was so boring with me. Oh my god. Like, why go out and party when you know I'm home alone doing nothing and you know I want to go to the party? Like, why not just bring me and have fun together, you know? And he always said, oh, my parents don't want me out late, but then he'd be with his friends in LA at 4 a.m. and I'd be like, what do you mean? When did your parents let you do that? But they can't let you do some fun things with me? Like, what? Also with the red flag of being like having a lot of girl best friends, I think it's just a red flag when your boyfriend is going on drives with his girl best friends and you look at his phone and he's Snapchatting them constantly and they know everything about his life, or you're hanging out with them and they mention like, oh, remember when we watched this movie here, but then that movie didn't come out until after you guys started dating, so you know that he was watching movies with them when you guys were dating. But that was like in my case. There might be some situations where like having a girl best friend is okay. This video is so over the place, but I feel like it's really fun because this is stuff I love to talk about with my friends. I also asked you guys your best advice for dating. Keep your standards high. I never do that and I need to start. Stay grounded. I really need to focus on that next time I get in a relationship, because sometimes I just like all I want to do is talk to the guy or be with the guy, and I think it's important to just have space. Like, I would love to have a boyfriend like 2 days a week, or like have a boyfriend on the weekends and then during the week like do my own thing, not even like need to talk to them. Chase Jesus together. I love that answer. I think it's really important to have the same morals, and if you have the same religious beliefs, that's like A+, because you guys can just relate to each other on a more spiritual level. And also if you're planning to like have kids in the future, I feel like that just makes things easier. Take your time, see how he treats his mom and how he acts when you aren't around. That's facts. I feel like that's everything I mentioned in this video, kind of like how they are with their parents or how they act with their friends. Be in the moment, be honest with each other, trust, because not everyone is a piece of shit. I think she meant like be open to trusting someone, because not everyone like is untrustworthy. I've never dated like an honest guy except for one, and he literally responded to this story and he said, take it slow. So love him, first love, first and only. Take it slow. I feel like that's actually a good one. I was with a guy once actually, and he told me that if we're eventually gonna have sex, then what's the point of waiting? And I was like, it's like, because there's a lot of things you should like get to know about a person before, I feel like. Dumped his ass real quick. Someone said always be open and communicate to each other everything you're feeling. I feel like that's a lot easier said than done. I'm always like, oh, like whenever someone has problems in their dating life, I'm like, just be honest with them. But like, it's honestly hard sometimes because, you know, some people can gaslight and manipulate you, not make it comfortable to open up to them, which can be really hard to deal with. Someone said knowing each other's love languages. I think that that is really important, especially just in every relationship, friendship you have throughout your life, because it's important to recognize and see what someone's doing to show that they love you and what you're doing to give them love. If you guys don't know what the love languages are, I'll put them on the screen. I'm not sure if I know them by heart. My one is like how I show love with a lot of people is gift giving. And this actually brings up a funny story. So I was with my boyfriend at the time. We were chilling just on his bed and I was like, oh, do you know what the love languages are? Like, I feel like it'd be good to like know each other's love languages. He like had no idea what it was. So I was like, oh, let's do the quiz. And he, being the lazy piece of crap he was, he didn't want to take the quiz. So I took it for him. And I was like on his laptop and I was like asking him all the questions. And I said, what do you feel like when I give you a gift? Was one of the questions on the website. And he said, I don't know, you've never given me anything. Meanwhile, my love language is gift giving. I pointed to everything around his room that I had made for him, given to him, bought for him. And he was like, oh, well, that's not like a present. And I'm like, Like, I cannot believe I dated this guy, and would always surprise him with gifts and always be thinking about him, and that's how I showed him love, and he obviously didn't recognize it. So I think knowing how someone gives love and how you receive it is just a really good thing to, you know, be self-aware about. The last piece of advice I'm gonna give in this long video is just to not ignore your intuition. Don't ignore the red flags, what your gut tells you, because usually it's right. I know this video was all over the place, and I'm sorry if it was a little confusing at some parts, but I just felt compelled to share you guys some stories and advice and just my experience dating. I could honestly talk about this for hours, and I have so many other stories that I probably just blocked out of my mind. If you guys have any more questions, just DM me or comment on this video, and I love you, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.